In a major earthquake, the ground doesn't just shake, it accelerates. For a skyscraper, this creates a fundamental conflict of physics. The base of the building is forced to move with the earth, but the massive weight of the upper floors wants to stay exactly where it is. This is inertia. When these two forces compete, a rigid structure will simply snap. To survive, a building must do something that seems counterintuitive for a structure made of thousands of tons of steel and concrete. It must learn to move. Some of the oldest earthquake-resistant structures in the world are Japanese pagodas. Many have stood for over 1,000 years, surviving hundreds of tremors that leveled surrounding buildings. Their secret lies in a central independent column called a shinbashira. This massive timber hangs from the top and extends toward the base, but it is not physically attached to the floors. During a quake, each level of the pagoda slides independently, and the central pillar acts as a stationary anchor, absorbing the kinetic energy through friction. In the center of Taipei 101, between the 87th and 92nd floors, hangs a 728-ton steel sphere. This is a tuned mass damper. Think of it as a giant pendulum designed to counteract the building's natural sway. When a wind gust or a seismic wave pushes the building to the right, the sphere's inertia keeps it centered, effectively pulling the building back to the left. By oscillating at a specific frequency, it dampens the vibrations, preventing the building from reaching a resonance that would cause it to fail. Modern engineering often focuses on base isolation. Instead of bolting a building directly to the foundation, engineers place it on flexible pads made of alternating layers of rubber and steel, often with a solid lead core. These isolators act like a vehicle's suspension system. When the earth moves violently beneath the structure, the pads deform and absorb the shock, allowing the ground to slide back and forth while the building above remains relatively still. It effectively uncouples the skyscraper from the destructive energy of the tectonic plates. The ground itself can be a skyscraper's greatest enemy. In certain conditions, sandy, water-saturated soil can undergo liquefaction. Under the intense vibration of an earthquake, the soil loses its stiffness and begins to behave like a thick liquid. To prevent a building from sinking or tipping, engineers drive massive piles hundreds of feet into the earth until they reach solid bedrock. These deep foundations ensure the structure is anchored to something stable, regardless of what is happening to the top layers of the soil. A common misconception is that a strong building must be a stiff one. In reality, earthquake engineering possesses ductility, the ability of a material to deform without breaking. Modern skyscrapers use specialized steel reinforcement and high-performance concrete designed to bend. By allowing certain beams to undergo control damage, the building can dissipate the energy of the earthquake. It is a sacrifice. The building may be structurally compromised after a massive event, but its primary goal is to remain standing long enough for everyone inside to exit safely. To handle the immense lateral forces of an earthquake, engineers often employ outrigger systems. This involves a rigid central core connected to external perimeter columns by large trusses. Imagine a person standing on a moving bus with their feet spread wide. The wide stance provides stability. The outriggers work the same way, transferring the load from the core to the outer edges of the building. This increases the structure's overall stiffness against swaying while keeping the interior floor plans open and functional for the people living and working inside. The future of earthquake protection might not involve the building at all, but the ground around it. Researchers are developing seismic invisibility cloaks. By drilling a specific pattern of holes in the soil or burying specialized resonators in a fractal geometry, they can create a buffer zone. These structures are designed to interact with seismic waves, refracting and redirecting them away from a city center. Instead of the energy hitting the buildings, it travels around them, leaving the structures inside the cloak virtually untouched by the shaking ground. We have transitioned from trying to build structures that are stronger than nature to building structures that can dance with it. Through a combination of ancient wisdom, heavy-duty mechanics, and sophisticated material science, we have turned the world's tallest buildings into resilient machines. These skyscrapers are no longer static monuments. They are dynamic systems designed to endure. As our understanding of physics deepens, we are finding ways to protect not just individual towers, but entire urban landscapes from the unpredictable power of our planet. Transitioning from short visits to permanent settlement requires a shift in how we think about engineering. We cannot bring Earth with us. We have to adapt to the physics of the vacuum. Through the combination of autonomous 3D printing, local resources, and compact nuclear energy, the moon stops being a destination and starts becoming a home. These first outposts will be the proving ground for how we eventually settle the rest of the solar system, using the dust beneath our feet to reach the stars. Looking back, our history is a steady march towards smaller and smaller slices of reality. We began by measuring the journey of the sun across the sky, and we ended by measuring the internal shiver of an atom. By chaining the sun and mastering the second, we didn't just learn how to keep time. We learned how to coordinate a global civilization and explore the deepest laws of physics. The second is no longer an invisible fragment of the day. It is the most precisely measured quantity in human history. When we look back at these mechanical monsters, we shouldn't see them as primitive. They were a brilliant solution to a fundamental problem: how to make a machine think. They remind us that computing was once something you could touch, hear, and feel the heat from. It was a craft of glass and wire. The next time you use a computer, remember that beneath the sleek glass screen, there is a long lineage of clicking magnets and glowing tubes that first taught us how to turn electricity into information.
If you'd like more videos like this, you can subscribe and come back to Brief Stories anytime.